Shake my hand for recording. Thank you. Guys, I am, first of all, I hope you're well. Shake my hand. Good to see you and all that good stuff. We're going to be looking at trade ideas, a whole lot of war rooms, a whole lot of pairs. This is a series I actually started last night, and I'm a bit heart sore because fundamentally, I've got 3 war rooms to do. So here's my big plan. I've got 3 war rooms to do. 1, 2, 3. And I recorded war room 1 yesterday. And war room 1 looked at all the indices and charts that were given to me by one of our newest students, Mr. Mbasa. And I did it, last night, canceled one of my live classes just to get this out of the way. Because you guys must remember, war room is an added layer to my life that I generally don't need, if I can put that in a very nice way. Because generally speaking, when it comes to war rooms, I am generally supposed to be just taking the trades, but now I have to pre-record the trades well ahead of time. And so yesterday I recorded them and the sound was completely off. My mic was tangled. I apologize about the noise in the background, but yeah. So tonight I'm gonna have to redo war room 1, okay, which is what I'm gonna do right now. Upload it. 6:30 p.m. I have a live class, so that's going to be like an hour from now. I don't know if I can finish all that stuff an hour from now. And then after my 6:30 p.m. class at about 8:30-ish p.m., I might have to start war room number 2. All right. And most of my war rooms, if you follow me on the live, they're about 2 hours. Because I know a lot of people just assume it's just a video. He's just making a video. It's actually a lot of work. It's actually a lot of work, especially if I have to redo them. All right. So I hope you guys bear with me. I'm sorry I couldn't drop content yesterday. First of all, after war room 1 last night, I had to wait for Zoom to sort itself out. And then power cuts happened, national load shedding in South Africa, power cuts at 5 a.m. today. And then when I checked out, the sound was useless. But anyway, let's get cracking, guys. Let's get cracking so I don't waste too much time. Now, there are a couple of things I obviously want to talk about, a couple of things that I'd line up to talk about in war room 1. You need to watch all 3 war rooms because I'm going to go through a lot of asset classes, number 1. Number 2, these war room signals, just to be very clear from the jump, and they have nothing to do with just about this week. It's this week up until December. All right, up until December. So you and I need to be on top of that stuff. We're going to do set and forget. If you're with me right now, my target is 244,111, 244,000 rands essentially, which works out to be about $16,000 US, right? So that's my target. So if you're taking these trades, you're taking them, you're adopting my target. Now that doesn't mean that's the dollar amount you are going to get. Remember, I am taking this based on my accounts. I'm going to use 3 accounts. I'm going to use a very small account, quick trade, a very, very small account for some aggressive intraday trading. All right, that account is about 2,000 rands in it, which is essentially as small as it can get, about $130 US. I'll be using this to backtest module 3 and to raise funds. I'll be using a slightly medium-term big account where I'll strictly trade FX pairs only on that. And then I'm going to finally play around with some VIX. All right, so I'll be covering a lot of these things in the next weeks to come. So it's something to keep watch out. But my target right now is about 16,312. There's something specific that we need to get. And the cost of that specific thing is 244,000 rands, which works out to be around that much. So that's the target. So these are set and forget trade ideas in this war room. And the second one that should drop sometime tomorrow, and in the third one, all of these. So after every Twix and I do reviews and I say, ooh, Euro USD 600 pips and I'm now closing. And then you say, how come you didn't tell us? I'm telling you now. This is war room 1. The next one I'm going to upload, and the third one, all those trades are going to be loaded there. So please pay attention, set your accounts correctly. Make sure you remember that difference in our targets is based on capital. Do not over risk a single trade to try and catch up with Leroy, because that's not how it works. You will lose while I'm still holding. Your account will blow, same entry, same stop loss, same direction, but because you over risked here, you will not be able to handle retracements. You'll get a margin call, and when price leaves, it will leave without you, right? It's never, I have a target based on you don't even know what I want to buy. So pace yourself, right? But let's get cooking, guys. Let's get cooking. I do have a class starting in about an hour from now, and I should have probably messaged them that I'll be doing this right now so that they don't expect me at 6 p.m. But here, I want to quickly link what happened last week Friday with what we're going to be doing today. Last week Friday with NFP, 20 minutes before NFP, I sent a voice note in the group saying, listen, guys, I don't trust NFP. I see some traps, be very careful, yada, yada, yada. I posted that on our public Telegram group, precisely because of what I saw on Euro USD on the 1 hour time frame, break of market structure, price looking to go to the upside, DXY, flirting and staying stagnant on the supply. A lot of retail traders naturally assumed that NFP had to be positive because ADP was positive, and that is nothing wrong with that assumption, right? It's not that they're supposed to go together. It's just that ADP is supposed to be one of those preliminary indicators we can use, okay? But as I've been teaching this for the last 4 weeks, I've never emphasized this concept more than I have with the current group in my live classes right now. If I want to buy something, I need you to sell it. If I want to sell something, I need you to buy it. And that's how smart money concepts work. Smart money wants to buy, retail traders 9 out of 10 times are selling. All right, so this could have been part of the buildup of the trap. I'll never know. What I do know is on Friday morning, market structure did not look like NFP was going to be positive on Friday morning. It didn't look like the type of setup. NFP on Friday morning looked exactly the way it looked in September. So last night in the first war room, I think I spent way too much time explaining the stuff. So if you don't mind me, I'm just going to fly through it as quickly as possible. I'm going to go to Euro USD because I really want the stuff to kind of like to keep building on the stuff. You remember we spoke about a long-term downtrend on Euro USD. Unfortunately, if you're like me, I would love to enter up here. If you're like me, I am not yet in these trades down there. I'm not yet in any of this downward trend. I would love to buy here. So the more price goes down and then starts to consolidate to make its way all the way up, the better for me, right? For my long-term swing. I would like to sell from this daily. I know my chart is a bit messy. This daily supply here, if price ever is so kind to get me here and to get me here, we have already got pending orders. I would like to hold that all the way down, right? This is a retracement buy, and we might need that buy to get these sales all the way down to this daily demand here, which is all the way there. All right, so this is, I'm going to put this down here as best buy, but there might be some buys here on the weekly time frame. I would love to hold price all the way down there. All right, so essentially, I'm hoping it will happen. It most likely will. I just need to be patient enough, right? So there's still about 623 pips for a swing trader on this chart. But let's talk about NFP last week Friday. So last week Friday, and I might need to get a cleaner chart for this. Friday was the 8th, I think. NFP was on the 8th of October, right? So let's come here. I want you guys to see this stuff. So like, because I get a lot of private messages, like, how did you know when you say this in the group? How did you know NFP was? And remember on Friday, I was not trading it. I was not in the markets with you guys. I told you that on Saturday was my partner was running a massive charity event and I had to help, blah, blah, blah. We were trading towards that, and I just had to focus on her and that particular event. So I did not trade NFP, but I did warn you guys in the public Telegram group, right? So this is what happened on London session. So if you think about this, on Friday morning of NFP London session, on the 1 hour time frame, Euro lands on a demand, 9 a.m. You see that there? I'm not making it up. There it is, go 9 a.m. on my time zone. I'm in South Africa. 9 a.m. is when London session starts. Euro literally, after literally creating a demand 2 days before that on the Wednesday, ADP, right? So when ADP came up, right, markets then started to move down a bit because remember ADP were positive on Wednesday, which meant dollar strengthened and Euro, took a somewhat of a light beating, and that led to consolidation. This looks like our Euro pound buy. There's a Euro pound trade idea that I gave where I was teaching you guys about market compression. Excuse me, there was compression right there. There was literally compression right there. So what happened is, as markets are compressing to the downside, they land back at a demand. 9 a.m. on the Friday of NFP, markets react and explode. So I'm really busy, making sure things are going smooth for the prep time for the event, and with a couple of local traders, senior traders who contribute their trading profits, blah, blah, blah. We're doing all sorts of things. And then I quickly checked the chart at 1 o'clock because I had an alarm to just kind of like update you guys about what I think is going on. And essentially what happened is I saw this. So this is literally priced at 1 o'clock, and you'll see it about 20 minutes after this. I sent a voice note to the group saying, be careful about NFP. Now, if you look at the structure, it's the same thing they did the previous NFP, September the 3rd, right? I'll show it to you, but I want you to see this because markets are repeating themselves. Your job is to master yourself, then master market rules, because this stuff is simple. This stuff is simple. This was a nice NFP to be a part of, right? Anyway, so look at this. So markets then do this, right? So markets kind of like sit through there. It's 1 o'clock. Now, if most people assume, right, dollar would be strong because NFP would be positive, and there are many good points. And oh my goodness, I did a good job yesterday explaining all that kind of stuff. September, this NFP was looking at job created in September. In September, Delta had been dealt with, better than it was, the previous month in August. So Delta fears were gone, but also in September, the 3rd of September, the Fed booster was cut off on the 3rd. Fed booster was a $300 employment check for unemployed people. So if they take that away on the 3rd, most market financial analysts, including myself, believe that if you're going to remove welfare checks from people, people have no choice but to get up and go look for jobs, right? So that happened on the 3rd. Delta variant is like under control, which again points to people can go back to work. So then what happened, right? So why was NFP so terrible, right? Because NFP is collected on the 3rd week to the last week of the month. We should have seen good data. So when I saw this just an hour before, I realized, okay, there's no ways. It's not a good place for a sell-off for the euro. This is not the place you want euro to start selling. You want euro to sell at a supply, and you want euro to buy at demand. You don't want euro to start dropping in the middle of nothing, right? Yeah. You know them. You know there'll be retail traders looking at support and resistance and making up all sorts of weird things about the market. But I'm saying if you've been following this channel for a long time, you know those things don't move the market at all. Not a single dollar combined multiplied by 1 billion retail traders is enough to move the market. So really, what I teach is where's price right now, where's it coming from, where's it going. Price is here right now at 1 p.m. on Friday. It's coming from a demand. Its next realistic area of value is a supply. So this is where price is going. But wait a minute, is our market going to jump? And the next, I sent that voice note to you guys on the public Telegram group at about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 1:30. And it's like, there's no ways markets are going to create such a massive bullish engulfing candle. The last time they did that was over here. So let's see. A basic massive bullish engulfing candle here is about 17 pips. So I did that. Look at it, I was like, is that what's going to do? Because for that to happen, by the way, for markets to do what I've just shown you, to give you this type of push, NFP had to be negative anyways. Why? Because this is the euro chart. So if it's negative, dollar will fall and then euro can go up. So long story short, price is going to a supply. If price is going to a supply and it's currently here, leaving a demand, we need to see an upward movement. So I concluded that NFP was most likely going to be negative, that to use smart money concepts here, they literally use the fill orders here at 9 a.m. on the day, green, right, to break, crush, compression, destroy any type of supplies because they were going up. So smart money started buying NFP trade sentiment. Basically, in the morning London session, your pending order should have triggered, and all you were doing before NFP was locking profits or breaking even, because the trade idea is never given when data is released. You are literally trading like a normal retail trader. Smart money is in already, right? So NFP gets released, long story short, price explodes upward into what? Into the trap. There we go. This is NFP into my supply. But when we make contact with the supply, those of you who did buy Euro USD and then held on for dear life, you still misunderstood what's going on. Markets did the exact same thing on the 3rd of September when they used the NFP to get liquidity. Those who thought dollar was going to be strong obviously tried to sell Euro USD. If you're selling Euro USD, markets bought against you to sell at their own supplies where everyone was buying, and the vice versa. Markets continued, and there we go. Euro USD has been falling. But you've been on this channel. If you're subscribed to the channel, you know I've told you now, do what the governor is doing. Euro USD is a sell. It's not debatable. We are not looking for buys anymore. Pound USD, the last time we talked about Pound USD, when we were talking, and some of you asked me about the short-term buys of the H4 that ended up not working. I told you, those things are selling. They will sell. come hell or high water, come CPI tomorrow, come FOMC 4th of November, we operate according to our governor. Markets have left the governing supply clearly now, right? We can't predict how long it will take, but we can clearly articulate the trend, which is all we need to know. Once we know the trend, we now know we need to find sell entries, right? So this guy's, like I said, 3rd of September, man. I mean, if I bring it up, then they'll say he's making stuff up. He's like those Forex gurus who make stuff up. So let's find it quickly. 3rd of September, I know for a fact because I was in the trade. That's an NFP I definitely traded. Let me show you what I mean. You see this here? Oh, there's so much to talk about, guys. It's just not enough time. There we go. 3rd of September, it was another negative NFP. Another, like literally 722K focus, big miss. 490K focus, big miss. Forecast, big miss. So 3rd of September, just to show you, this is the 22nd. That's the 14th. I've got an arrow for you right there because I did this recording yesterday. There's my NFP candlestick, 2 p.m. The next one is 3 o'clock. NFP happens at 2:30. Markets rallied up. Markets rallied up into what, Leroy? Well, look left, supply. Right, there was a supply here. Markets used the NFP, negative NFP, to assume a bullish Euro USD, a bullish Euro USD that was short-lived for exactly 15 minutes. Markets went up just to go down. And if you were smart like 365 traders, then that was a good time to sell, right? While everyone was buying, we sell and we hold. This sell has been the sell that drove price from the 3rd of September to the 8th of October. A beautiful 1 month swing. You can't show me a single place. Let's go to the H4 time. You can't show me a single place where price kicked you out. And that's it, guys, because we know what we are doing. We are not looking for long for these weird trade setups. If you want to buy Euro USD, you're more than welcome to buy, as long as you know when to look left, look right. So you see the supply was made on the 4th of August, 1 month before the 3rd of September. The 3rd of September, exactly 1 month before the 4th, after the 4th of August, is NFP. So what did they do for NFP? They used the 3rd of September to drive price. You see this? If you've done my module 2, you'll know that a fundamental criteria to our traders' edge, we don't sell unless we can clearly identify dumb traders, right? And I'll teach you that stuff. If you haven't done my module 2, it's coming. We never sell until there's a clear, we can literally go, there we go. That's a dumb trader. There we go. We're dumb traders coming through hot season there. Markets rally into our supply. The one that was created exactly a month ago, markets dropped, markets dropped, markets dropped, markets dropped, markets bloody dropped. There's NFP last week, Friday, no real reaction. Markets are going down because even though NFP was negative and dollar is supposed to be strong, which is independently correct, Euro USD is selling because the governor said so. We do what the governor said. The governor has declared a sell. We've been talking about this for a very long time. This chart is very messy. I apologize. Long story short, though, I've covered Euro USD in detail, right? So, look, man, it's so unfortunate that yesterday's video, it was messed up, but I spoke about this. This is interesting. So your average hourly earnings, which was all part of the NFP news release, went up by 0.2%, right? So this is basically a calculation of the change in price businesses pay for labor. So did wages go up? Wages are slightly going up while job creation is going down, right? So we got a new crisis, not a new crisis, it's just something to think about. It's called stagflation. The economy is stagnant. It's not creating jobs, and the few people in jobs are getting slight increment of wages, which is supposed to be a good thing, but it can introduce stagflation, right? The nice part about this NFP for the United States was unemployment rate drop. So tomorrow, guys, is the last big report. This report was disastrous. Will this affect tapering? I don't think so. I think it will affect duration of the taper. I think what FOMC is going to say is we're going to taper, but instead of tapering aggressively and fast for 7 months, we're going to taper for 12 months, for a year. I think that's all that's going to happen on the 4th of November. I don't think tapering will change, but it's all based on this baby. This is the last big report that we need. CPI. CPI is the last big report that we need. This is it. Consumer Price Index, CPI is the last. It's happening tomorrow. Be very careful if you're trading. watch out for this, right? This might be our last chance to get into some long-term trades based on how this report goes. Okay, but yeah, let's get started, man. And I hope you appreciate that short introduction, man. I wish I could give it more, but I'm worried about time. I do have class, and you know, I'm a one-take kind of guy. I don't edit my stuff. You see me posting stuff while I yawn, blah, blah, blah. It's just real, authentic. I'm not here to be a pulpit monkey or to dance for anyone. I'm here for people who fundamentally want to really learn, right? So our first chart request, which was actually one of my first interesting signals yesterday, and you can see I think price is pushing up, was Swiss franc and the Japanese yen. All right, so I'm going to look at the three charts that one of the students asked me to look at, and then I'm going to rush to indices, do those as quickly as possible, provide some clarity. But I won't even lie to you. I mean, out of all the indices I went through yesterday, in my trading idea, I've just got two that I want to trade. So it might not even be worth going through all of them. What might be better is me spending time explaining to you why I want to buy or sell in the ones that I looked at yesterday. Okay. Right. So this is what we have here on the governing time frame on this pair, right? So markets are clearly on an upward climb. This to me definitely is a buy profile asset. I don't know why, but it reminds me so much of USDRUB. Obviously a much more cleaner version of USDRUB, but you can see that an original turning point was created here in 2015, and that did not stop price from finding a bottom, right? Markets did find a better, closer demand, so to speak, and markets kind of like bounced off it. And now markets have been slowly trying to climb back, chipping away at, you know, governing supplies along the way. And here we are. So we've got glass effect, break of structure, all sorts of things, a little demand down here to catch price, then markets racing all the way up, right? Essentially here. So I'm split, man. I wouldn't want to sell such a chart. Yes, we're in a supply, but I wouldn't want to sell it. I wouldn't want to sell something that's aggressively trying to trigger glass effects, right? There might be a lot of great short-term sales, don't get me wrong, but this is aggressive. This is super aggressive, man. I mean, this is really, really aggressive. So sales might be short-lived here. We shall see. All right. So what I did say basically on this chart was I am not willing to do anything until the governing supply is completely removed. So I would love to buy it down here. Right. So this is the signal. I would very much love to buy down here, but it's not a blind signal. This has got some serious conditions and you need to really pay attention to them. Number one, I will buy here if this gets removed. Okay, so I essentially need price to keep going strong without me. I don't like that markets are about to pause here, because if markets pause here and the supply is strong enough and to push price down, I'm going to be very skeptical to take this trade. I don't want to lie, right? I'm going to assume this might not work. There's no reason why it shouldn't, but I will assume it won't. And the main reason is actually, there is a big reason. It is inside of a governing supply. So what would be nice is if price was to make its way up and then come back down like that. Right, up, but up outside my yellow area of value, which is the circumference or the perimeter of my supply. If markets can pierce through my supply, I'm happy. I'll take the buy. If markets do not pierce through this supply, I'll take the buy as a C-class trade, low risk. You know, so it's very small lot sizing, and then if it works out, it works out. But if markets break that supply, you know, as an announcement that we're going up, then I'm happy. I'm ecstatic just to stay the list, right? So that's you know, Swiss JPY, Swiss JPY, right? The next chart was USD China Yuan. I didn't see particularly a trade setup, so it's not in. Remember, these are once again the charts I looked at last night. I didn't see anything that exciting to take, but I can walk you through what I see. Maybe I'll change my mind right now. Governing time frame, markets, have been dropping. This because of DXY was falling. This is the Trump effect, Trump supply, March, May 2020. Markets have found a demand in the DXY. You can see that DXY has been popping. Markets also found a demand here. Markets are trading sideways. I think long term, we're going to see some upward movement. Personally, I don't see why not. There's a demand sitting on top of a demand. So long story short, we shall see some type of extension to the upside. I mean, anything is possible. So there's obviously noting the fact that this is here. I am completely aware of that, but for now, I do believe markets will go to the upside, right? Because there's nothing yet. There's nothing solid that would say, okay, fine, no, markets are not gonna go up. I think they will go up. I think markets are going up, to be honest with you. And as markets go up, which is what's going on here, going up 1, going up 2, going up 3, we shall see. We shall see if this closes above. But it's not a thing to rely on trend lines, in isolation. Markets are sitting on top of a valid demand. It's about waiting for tapering news, FOMC, interest rate hikes, just some dollar strength to get this going back to the upside. Okay, so that's my opinion, but I couldn't find a clean trade. Right, I'm happy to change my mind if markets close on the other side of this trend line and break it. I'm happy to change my mind. But right now, from what I can tell, is markets have just been consistently sitting on demand upon demand. Right, weekly, same thing. Markets are just sitting there. Yeah, there'll be a couple of stops along the way. Right, a couple of things to consider here. But for the most part, price could get through that, I guess. And then struggle to find an entry that I liked. I mean, there was this one right here, which is currently at play. But outside of that, really not much. Outside of that, really not much. So yeah, I'm not too interested in taking a trade here, but I see it. USD Russian ruble. Russian ruble. I wonder where the 0-100 chart is. Right, and so the third chart that Mr. Mbasa asks us to look at. I'm just looking for the one I highlighted yesterday. There we go. Right, so this is I don't like charts like this, man. I don't like charts that consolidate inside areas of value, because those areas of value become weakened over time. And then we have to trust, right? So if this thing falls, which I guess would make sense for it to fall at some point, it's going to be difficult for me to trust the strength behind the sell, right? Very difficult for me to trust, because all this consolidation inside a supply will always weaken an area of value. This is on the daily time frame. Right, so I spoke about this last night. This is for me. It's an interesting area of value here to sell. I don't like it, right? So there's long-term consolidations, then markets drop. So if you look at it carefully, then we drop. Consolidation drop, consolidation will go up, consolidation will go up, right? So this chart likes to leave the areas, and there's nothing we can do about it, right? So that's fair and fine. But this continuous consolidation drop, yeah, there's a potential play for that. There is room in the markets for this, but I don't trust it. I won't even lie to you. I do not trust it. And more importantly, there's so many better sells, right? There's a better sell high. That's what I mean. Always want to sell a little bit higher. So there's this at play as well, where markets try to arrive or did arrive, depending on your perception of it. But to me, it looks like it tried to arrive. But if you draw the complicated 365 series, so if you draw the second candle, then you'll realize that it did arrive, right? So let's call that a fresh touch. Markets could get a retest here. and go above this, only because the supply is so comfortable and so low, and so close, right, to a demand that price could come back fully, like strong into the supply and activate. So just be very careful about that. Okay, right. So guys, these are kind of like the three main currency pairs that I went through yesterday, and out of them, I like the Swiss franc JPY as a trade idea. Swiss franc JPY as a trade idea because of what it gives. It does give some. Remember, from a governing perspective, if heaven opens up here, right? If heaven opens up here, then nothing can stop us. This is good. This is very good. All right. Now, I went through tons of indices, and maybe what I'll do is, because I'm rushing for class, I will redo that towards the end. So to be a part of another, a section of a war room. But there are two specific indices that I want to talk about right now in this video. Let's make this nice and short, just to get people started, right? Guys, once again, the target is $16,312 US. I will nail that. So these signals are important. The next war rooms that are going to come, you're just going to have to allow me to have my class. I cannot move class. These people are expecting class. I have to show up for class. But after my class, between today and tomorrow, it's a weird week with these power outages, right? Every time I woke up at 5, couldn't do anything. Power outage. I'm hoping to God that I can have class and there's no power outage. But that's that target is near and dear to my heart. Let's see if we can add a bit more. Okay, well, let's see if we can take a bit more from the markets, right? It's not much. It's literally about 250,000 rands, a $250,000. Let's go for it. Please take these seriously, right? So China 50. We talk about the Evergrande crisis. And yesterday I was saying, I don't like what I see, or do I like what I see? Let's find a better chart for it. Let's find a better. There we go. I wonder. Right. This is interesting. Right. So markets broke at demand, which we spoke about. We spoke about how shocked we were. I spoke about how shocked I was. I was genuinely shocked. This was new to me. China 50 has never in its history broken a demand. It broke one right there, took it out. So I was like, damn, what do we do now? How do we even begin to operate right now? All right. And so that to me was, fascinating. But it did. And then after that, it used September, October to start pumping up. And I'm wondering if we can trust this pump. Personally, I would have preferred a lower buy. So this is where I am. So yesterday, I did tell you guys that this is not for small accounts, unfortunately, unless if you want to break it up. So let's break it up. I'm on the weekly time frame. There are these buy zones. Now, I want you to understand this carefully now. If you don't want to lose your entire account, and you shouldn't be trading indices if you don't know all the rules for indices. Please do not trade indices if you do not know all the rules for indices. But here is a war room. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to give some signals. There's some massive buy blocks here, right? That should give us a leg up. And I can't help but think Evergrande. I can't help but think Communist Manifesto. I can't help but think that the Maoists are showing their teeth. I can't help but think that the Chinese version of capitalism is really, really quite ruthless. I can't help but remember Alibaba this year. I can't help but think, can I just quickly check the Alibaba stock? They literally took a whole company from these people. Baba. Right, so the last time I gave you a China 50 index video, and I was explaining to you the China crisis. This was the original Chinese crisis before Evergrande Chinese crisis, right? Where the government was just smashing things. The stock had lost 42% of its value. The stock is now a big headliner for what we call the Buffett indicator. Warren Buffett is an indicator for stocks. We'll talk about that one day. It's not like an actual, those traders with indicators, that you put on your phone. No, it's a whole fundamental outlook on price and stocks. This baby here has fallen, right, today, at least to date, about 49%. So it's dropped an extra 7% from the last time I did a video about this. I can't believe Shame, man. Right. So, and I say, right. So why demand is at play now, right? So that's why there's that resuscitation of price there. I've told you before, supply and demand number 5, turning point. Look at that beautiful imbalance, catch and stock. See these things during my work. If you're a student, and I've taught you, you must see me see these things. You must understand why I see these things. You must go, oh damn, it works in Forex, it works in crypto. Fine, good. Then you know what you're doing, right? So finally, the stock found a place to rest, right? I don't know if the crash is done, but finally, right, there's some, you know, very eager buyers here trying to hold this thing, and we wish them the best. We genuinely wish them the best, but price on the other side of a downward trend line. Markets have broken structure. Markets have been breaking other demands, you know, in the way. The governing time frame, that would be actually quite interesting. Markets did break a couple of governing demands. Look at that, right? So markets would arrive there, spend a month consolidating just to break here, consolidate, no, just broke, and finally consolidating down here, right? So the next real demand is down here. This would be a nice place to buy Alibaba. This is only after, and we want to give ourselves some time to actually process what the hell is going on, who's in charge, who runs the company now. Is it the crazy communist government? Is it what's going on? We wanna see, but I would argue that this will be destroyed. So price will move down. So we're really looking at the stock taking a thorough beating all the way to like a 70%, which is very much outbuy. No, this is not investing advice. I'll only buy, you know, based on those specific things, right? This is not the stuff I'll put in my Walt in 3 years stock because it's quite a high risk stock. So I'll take this in a separate portfolio, not the one I'm building with you in my Walt in 3 year program. If you don't know about the Walt in 3 year program, check the link down below. You don't want to miss out on that. It's ridiculously cheap and fundamentally life changing. Like it is the best of both worlds, right? But something else. Anyways, Alibaba is falling, right? So China is still on fire, man. China is still on fire. So this was interesting to me yesterday, that the China 50 index is already turning around, almost trying to create this lucrative healthy mode. So you guys saw that this is buy one I got on the weekly time frame, right? But you can also see on the governing time frame, there's no confluence. It's not really supported unless if you understand confluence to look like this. Let me show you what I mean. Look at how big this demand is, right? So if you do something like this, draw the demand properly the way I've taught you how to draw it in currencies, and then you shop around for a reasonable body and you realize that's the reasonable body, and so you start to use the wick of the reasonable body. We get 13,538, and then if we have 13,538 and we just look for 13,500, bearing in mind with my strategy we're looking for a 25 to 30 point difference on average, and then we start to drop to weekly, you will realize that we are sitting right at the top of that first area that I spoke about, right? So essentially, this is unfortunate and unfair for people with small accounts. It's not really a trade you want to be a part of. This is the entire zone. And if this becomes the entire zone, anything goes, right? This entire zone, just so we're all clear, is give or take, that's actually quite a lot. Let's get an information line. About 15%. This whole zone is quite big. The zone is honestly quite big. All right, and it's a lot of points, about 2,000 points. Be very careful. Be very careful, right? So I would suggest we go with the classic, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one slice at a time. We start to look for, you know, consistent buy blocks. You buy, you take profit, you get out. You buy, you take profit, you get out, right? So my first thought is markets might waver here. That's my first thought, right? So it might be worth thinking about China 50. I'm just readjusting my trade plan. If you're watching these videos and you don't think it's a Netflix movie, but a way to build your wealth, and I'll suggest you always have a trading journal where you talk to yourself and digest what you've learned. China 50 sells. A sell trade will probably be the first thing I would be looking for. Sell, weekly supply, and that's based on daily confluence. I have to first find confluence, all right? And then I'll take profit way before price even got down here. Because by the time price gets down here, that gets very tricky. Look at what it looks like on the daily. It's a mess. One, two, three. Mess. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. Why am I doing this? Fundamentally, I don't believe it's time to buy. I'm not convinced China 50 has bottomed out yet. I genuinely am not. So markets could even come up to here and then drop. Right? Markets could swallow this whole area here and then drop. Markets could come all the way up here and then drop. Potentially 1, 2, 3. Right, it's just a mess, honestly. I don't want to force it, right? My main trade idea is to buy down here, by the way, but I'm just realizing why not also catch the sell down? But it's just a mess. You see there, consolidation, drop, base drop, and then pushed up, base drop. Right. So just be. What did I do? Probably not sell. I mean, due to so much lack of clarity. I mean, when was this structure removed anyways? Okay. Which would make this very strong. Okay. See, I don't want to sell here and then markets drive a little bit higher. But then I don't want to put a stop loss out here and then markets keep driving a little bit higher all the way up there. Right, and if I come to the weekly time frame, the sell area with as much confluence as possible is this one. So to leave that, leave that. Plotting for line. Sorry, guys. Doing a lot of thinking, less talking, right? It's still way too big, man, for an average retail trader's account. Yeah, so if that's the case, please wait, honestly, on this trade. Wait to sell as high as you can. So I would increase my sell alert and put it somewhere here. This is what I saw. Yesterday, I just saw a clean back. So I would like to sell somewhere there. And then the first time I would consider exiting is somewhere here, only because markets have created a demand there and I don't want to ignore it. But if markets were to, but I wouldn't buy. So if markets were to break this demand, I would have a pending order just down below here, right? My original pending order. Yeah. So I'd literally look at this beautiful imbalance. This is what I want. Fresh touch, etc., etc. I'll definitely buy there. All right. I would definitely buy there. That is where I want to be, triggered. Right, and that's 14,000, sorry, 14,000 is a good place to be triggered. So I'm just gonna write here China long. Cool. And then the last, not the last chart, but I guess the last chart in this short video, because I did go through every single other index yesterday, but I will do them again for you like I'm doing this right now. It's just that I want you guys to get started on something, so I'm going to upload this right now. Was Dow 30. I spoke about the similarities with NASDAQ 100 and all that kind of cool stuff and what to look out for, etc., etc. And markets testing this bearish engulfing pattern, and that it might not be the best of signs for upcoming movements. As you can see, price keeps bouncing or being rejected here, right? Hidden demands are right across. Not entirely interested in that. And then we've got this. Yeah. Nah, I've even changed my mind. I mean, US30 best buy is way too low. You have to wait for it. You literally have to wait for this. You have to wait for this play here. That's it. I can't tell you more. I wouldn't want to lie to you. This is literally the only play available. 32,800 for now. If you're buying, I'll wait for price to come to me down there. I'll wait for that. I will wait for that right down. But it could get low. Yeah, but it won't. Here's fair. Let's see. Then if markets don't come down and markets are done selling off, which I don't think is the case. Remember CPI or tomorrow, the Dow and Nas will dance to that. Just like they dance to kind of like NFP. So the effect is the same. If NFP was terrible, you know, dollar will fall, but stocks will also get hurt, etc., etc. So just watch out for that, guys. Apologies for the short video, but what will happen is you're going to get a whole currency breakdown. It's coming. I've got it all planned, but this is just to just give you guys some insight on NFP, highlight what's going on tomorrow, CPI, also let you know about the 2 trades I've looked at so far. You know, Swiss franc JPY, China 50 sell and a long trade at 49, and then another buy with US30. And I see on my notes here last night after I went through everything, I also looked at gold, silver. I see that I decided to almost potentially take a trade on Palladium. So let's quickly try and find it. All right, so Palladium, there's a potential buy according to my markup notes. Want to see if I agree with myself, guys, and then just quickly freshen up, man, and get ready for class. Get ready for class. Class is the most important thing this evening in my life. I want to be 100% for the gang. All right, so markets got to that demand, pumped up. Markets are trying to pump up. So that retest might not be that deep. Right, so that might happen or is happening right now. And that's where I want to be. I want to be triggered somewhere in there. All right, so bearish engulfing pattern, market left in imbalance. This is a good place to buy. Palladium. I would buy Palladium somewhere there. 1935. Right. Good luck, guys. Cheers. See you. 3 more videos, proper videos, in-depth videos. Just with me, you know, with more time. This is really just to apologize for the delay in uploads. It's not my fault. People keep voting bloody ANC. I said it. It's my channel. I said it. Vote for competence, whatever you think competence is, or become the competence we all want to see. But yeah, as long as there's national load shedding, it does affect a lot of things, because I am now on fiber, and fiber needs electricity, unfortunately. And generators are extremely loud and they annoy me. So I might actually need to get a solar system in the new house, because we're selling this place and we're going to a new place in December. So I shall see. Right, anyways, 365, shake my hand. Please, I have a target. Do you have a target for December? If you do, write it down and let's get to it. Shake my hand, guys, 365. Please don't forget, there will be videos back to back in the next 24 hours. I'm going through everything, most currency pairs, a whole lot of commodities, and I'm going to have another look at those indices. The Nike, FTSE, Hang Seng, the DAX, Eurostock, the AUD 2000, the CAC 40. We've done Dow Jones, China 50 at least, and we're going to have to see if we can get into NASDAQ, right? I am on a roll. Hope to see you on the next video. Cheers.